Welcome to the Purpose Driven Mom Show, episode 398, which is wild to think about that we're almost at episode 400. Today I'm talking all about accountability, what it is, why you need it, and why I think it's the missing piece when it comes to you achieving your goals. Speaking of accountability, the Purpose Driven Mom Club is opening up this week for our spring cohort. You can go to purposedrivenmom.com/club, depending on when you're listening, and you'll either be directed to the wait list, so get on that, or to the open cart period so you can check out what bonuses we have and join our next cohort. So let's talk about accountability and two different types. We're going to talk external, then we're going to talk internal accountability, and then we're going to talk about how do we find it. Now, accountability is just this added tool. It is part of my 5-step goal process, accountability, because we cannot do it alone. And for so many of us moms, we have it all on our shoulders, right? We bear the brunt of the things, we run the ship, we do it all. But who is looking out for us? This is why accountability matters. And accountability isn't just another person. I'm going to talk about some accountability tools we can use as well. Accountability is another line of defense. It's another layer. It's another kind of notch in your plan that's going to help you achieve your goals. Without accountability, it can be really challenging to achieve your goals because you're the only one holding yourself together. And that is exhausting. I'm tired of always being in charge. I'm tired of always being the one to spearhead. I'm tired of feeling like I have to do all the checking in. When you create a really good accountability plan, though, what it does for you is it means that you're not alone. You have some tools and resources, and it also helps you stay on track because there's going to be days you get off track, right? There's going to be days where it doesn't go well. There's going to be days where I'm coming off 3 weeks of illness right now. You might even be able to hear it. I'm still super congested, trying to clear out my sinuses. It has been really hard, and things have gotten off track. Like that's where the life is. Life has gotten off track. And without my accountability, it would have been really easy for me today to have myself wake up and let it be another day where I don't move forward. Now, again, you're allowed to rest and recover and do all those things, but there comes to be a point, I find this like little tipping point when it comes to my goals, where if I don't move forward, if I don't take any action on this goal, it's very easy for it to just go to the wayside. It's very easy for it to be like, oh, well, I'm not worried about this goal, right? Like it is what it is. And you want more, don't you? You want to achieve your goals. You want to manage your home. You want to start that business. You have goals and things you would like to achieve. So why not use accountability as a tool and a resource? Okay. Let's talk about some accountability tools and how they can help you. Now, I think that this first one is super basic, but a lot of us don't think of it as accountability, and it is your phone timer, the alarm on your phone. I love a timer. I have a ton of different timers set on my phone because I need the reminder. This is my favorite one because one, it's built in. We all have our phone. You're not paying extra for anything. It's just there. But two, you can set this tool up to just be that little reminder of I need to get this thing done. So how do I use the timer on my phone as accountability? Well, I will give myself different times where I want to transition time blocks, for example, like I'm ready to move to the next project, I will have the alarm go. I also will use alarms for things that I tend to continue to forget. So my tracking on Trello was a habit that I had. I lost it when I got sick. It was something I was doing. I was going in every night. I was creating my plan for the next day. I was tracking all of my goals. And that kept me really on top of it, but I was forgetting to do it. We'll talk about tracking in a second as an accountability tool, but let's talk about the timer. I realized that this was the best time of day for me to track at night before bed so that I could wake up. If you can see, if you're on YouTube with me, I actually had like full out wrote my time blocks. You can see here. Normally I don't write them out like this, but because I'm coming off being sick, I was like, we need to get some routines back. So I plan, it feels good, but it doesn't work if I don't do it, right? If you don't actually do the thing you said you're going to do, it's not going to work. So I have an alarm that goes off on my phone at 9 p.m. every night, and it's just called Track on Trello because you can go into your phone, you can change what the alarm says. Track on Trello. It just tells me to do it. This reminder, while there are days that I will snooze it, if you will, is that reminder and pattern interrupt to be like, right, I said I was going to do this thing. It's only going to take me 5 minutes. Let's go. This is really helpful, especially for anything that's a 15-minute or less task. Water is a great example. I'm always telling people to put their alarms on their phone for accountability. Just every few hours, have an alarm go off that says drink some water. It's the reminder. Why do we need this? Because as moms, we are go, go, go all day long. We're not stopping. We're not pausing. We're not thinking. And if we're not checking in, so like I showed you my time blocks that I had kind of themed and all my tasks written out for the day. I have this next to me right now at my desk, and I'm going to carry it around with me this week because I'm trying to get back on track. I don't always need to have that much accountability. But if I'm not looking at this, then it doesn't matter what I wrote down. I'm going to forget it. So my first accountability tool for you is put alarms on your phone, as many as you want, and label them what you want them to be. You want to journal, you want to remember to make that phone call, you want to remember to go for a walk or take a break or whatever it is, write it down there, okay? It's a great tool, it's free, it's already in there. Now I mentioned the Trello tracking, so let's talk about how tracking is actually part of your accountability. This is your personal accountability. Now, I find personal accountability really challenging. That's why I like external accountability with things like buddies and partners, because again, I'm going to put myself last because, society or whatever it is has taught me that I should. I'm naturally going to gravitate to putting myself last. So I need to have some externals, but this is a really good internal accountability is tracking. So I use my Trello, I use checklists inside of it. Today, I just showed you where I have just little check boxes for my planner. This is good accountability because it's checking in. Now, again, you might need to couple this with the timer because if you're not checking in, it's not going to matter. But what you could do is you could set an alarm for each of your time blocks. My time blocks are 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and then 9 to 11 is just me time. I don't really time block that. That's like when I watch TV, do my little latch hook and relax or whatever, right? So I could put alarms in my phone that say check in on your planner. And I was coaching someone in the Purpose Driven Mom Club, and this was something I had them do because they realized they weren't checking in at all. And they were starting to create really good patterns where they're like, right, 12 p.m., my alarm goes off. That means it's time to stop, check in on my work. This also helps if you get carried away with the project. This is a problem some of us have. We get so into something that we're doing that we don't want to transition. The alarms can help, but tracking itself is a goal. Tracking your thing is going to do a couple things for you. One, you're going to check the box off, and our brain's going to get that dopamine hit. You ever be that person who writes like shower down just so you can cross? Like that's me, right? I write shower and then I like to cross that off. So you get that dopamine hit, right? I did the thing. But it also helps you kind of do a quote pulse check on where you're at with the day. So right now I'm in my 9 to 12 time block. Again, if you're on YouTube, you can check our channel out. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm in my 9 to 12 time block. The time in real life is 10:45. I'm right here at record my podcast episode. Now that's all I could fit. I knew what the topic was going to be. I knew what the number was. So I know that I have to record this episode and I need to get promotion ready for something that we're doing, an affiliate program thing. I have about an hour and 15 minutes to get these two things done. I have got more than enough time to do that, take a quick break and move forward. I'm really excited about that. Now I feel like I'll probably be more on top of these early time blocks because it's early in the day and then stuff starts to wane by the end of the day, but it's okay because I'm checking in. If I get to the end of it and I realize I don't have enough time for it, I need to move it. Now, I'll show you this, especially because like I said, if you're on YouTube, you can see, I've got my planner here. I'm starting to plan out tomorrow. So I have a notepad next to me. Let me grab that. I have this notepad here where I'm starting to plan Wednesday out because what was happening was stuff was starting to pop in my head as my day was going. And I realized I'm not putting anything in today. This is why we use the concept of the thought catcher. I was like, I'm not putting anything more in today. My lines are filled. My day is planned. If I want to move ahead, if I have extra time, I can. So I was like, let me start planning tomorrow so I can decide what I'm doing in my blocks. So I've got my general 4. I haven't started my 6 to 9 block yet, but I've got my general 4 and I started to just kind of add in what has to happen. I have a couple calls and I realize I have a couple things I got to get done. So this way I'm not only checking in frequently, but I'm asking myself how much more time do I need for something and where am I going? Again, it's all built in accountability. Now there's a couple other tools you can find, apps on your phone. I know there's some like really fun like water tracking apps. I'm a reader, so I like to use things like Goodreads or Bookmori, or you can make your own printable trackers. We've got a really cool reading tracker that we'll link up in the show notes. We've got a self-care planner. Those types of things are really great because, and the reason I started doing the printable trackers for accountability was because sometimes we just need that extra oomph. Sometimes we just need something separate to track one goal so we could focus on it and pay attention to it and kind of pick how we like to learn. Using trackers online, in your planner, printable packs, whatever, is a really good accountability tool for you, but only if you're going to check in with it. So couple that with using the timer, and I think that you're going to be good. All right, we talked a little bit about some tools that can be considered accountability, but let's talk about the people now. I love a good accountability buddy, but darn if they aren't hard to find and stick with. Now, I want to say this first. The accountability person that a lot of us think of is our partner or spouse or in real life bestie. They're not gonna always be the best person for you to be accountability. My husband and I have tried to be accountability buddies for a few things. Sometimes it works. We're both running right now, so like that works. Like we'll check in on our runs. Sometimes we enable each other. Like I'm trying not to eat after 8 o'clock. And I get the weird, I don't know if anyone else, I get the weirdest dreams if I eat too late. So, but then we'll watch TV and then we'll both grab snacks and that's a wrap, right? That's how it goes. So sometimes that's what happens. They're not always the best partner for us. Why? Because maybe they have a similar vice, but also, how do I say this kindly? They don't care about our goals like we care about our goals. Like we love our goals. Our goals are ours. Our partners aren't always going to care. Our in real life bestie thinks it's cool, but they might not be the person for you because they might be also trying to just like make you feel good. I have a friend and I'll like say something and she's like, it's okay, like it'll all work out. And I'm like, no, 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 like I'm just having feelings. Like I don't need to be positive right now. Like I just need a reality check. So it's not always the person we think. Now, there are really great ways to find accountability. And the reason having an accountability buddy or a small group helps is because you're not doing it alone. Now, I will say my biggest struggle when it comes to this, though, is I often am like the one to hold the group together. And I find that very frustrating. It's very, very much aligned with my personality, though. Like I was always the one spearheading the class projects, like that kind of thing. It is me, but it becomes annoying, right? It becomes super frustrating when you're like, I don't want to be the one who's always holding it together. So you're going to want to find somebody who is at your same level, equal with what you're working on. If you're in business, you want to find somebody kind of in the same job area of your business, like beginning stages. Another podcaster, for example. If you're going after, like, I did a couch to 5K this year, I'm training for a 10-mile race and a half marathon. It wouldn't make any sense for me to be with somebody who wasn't still at that phase. So you want to make sure they're at a similar phase than you. There's something about being in the room in the right container. I've been in groups before where I've had accountability buddies where I was like light years ahead of them, for example, in my business, right? The podcast, we're almost on episode 400, right? 600,000 something downloads. Like we've been doing this thing for a while. So it wouldn't make sense for me if I was like trying to. So right now I'm super behind on podcasting. Thanks. Big ups to Sharon, my podcast editor who deals with me because I've been sick and also just behind. And so it would be helpful for me to have somebody to be an accountability buddy with like, hey, did you record today? Hey, did you record today? Right. But it doesn't make sense for me to be with somebody who's like such a newbie that they're like, hey, what software are you using? Right. Like that wouldn't be a mutually beneficial relationship. That'd be more like a mentorship, which is a cool partner to have, but not what you want when you're doing accountability. I have also, though, been in an inappropriate room because I was light years behind other people. When I was in my Latch coaching group, I really liked my coach, and I thought it was the program for me. And what I found was, and I was in the program for a year and a half, and what I found was everybody was so much further ahead in their business with me that it was making me feel um, awful, honestly. While my business is not too shabby, we make, 6 figures a year, almost multiple 6 figures at this point a year. It's not doing too bad at all. I'm in this room with people who are making 6 figures a month. And I at first thought like, well, what do I have to offer them? And I would give advice. I have different strategies. Like it wasn't like anyone made me feel that way, but my brain was making me feel like I didn't belong. I was always comparing myself to these people. And it actually wasn't good for my business or my mental health when it came to it because it was never enough. I was always chasing and I was trying to get to the next level because I was trying to catch up to these people that I was like paying to be in the room with. It wasn't an appropriate fit. Now I found this new group that I'm in. I love my new coach. And I feel really solid with where I'm at. I feel like I'm in the right space. That makes a difference. And it's actually reminding me that I don't have an accountability buddy inside that group. And maybe I'll want to reach out to find somebody who might want to like be my buddy in that group. But I am in this great accountability group where I can show up for coaching and everybody kind of gets what's going on. So when you're looking for an accountability partner or a group, you want to make sure you're finding people who are at the right level, very Goldilocks here, not too far behind, not too far ahead. Just right. Now, how can you find these people in real life? Honestly, again, we're gonna want like our bestie to be the one who holds us accountable, but it doesn't always work that way. I would really recommend going into like a local Facebook group, the parent organization at your kid's school, and trying to ask people there. I literally had a friend text me this morning. She's like a mom that I'm like becoming friendly with. My son and her son are in the same class. We've had a couple play dates, not super close, but like we're new friend. If you've read the Life Counts, it's a new friend. We're forming the relationship. And she texted me and said, "Hey, I was thinking about like my work schedule's changing of like getting some walking now that it's gonna get warm soon. Like, would you want to like go for a walk like once or twice a week?" Right? That's awesome. That works. Like, I want to get some extra movement in. I want to form and build this relationship, and like we'll meet up and go walking, and that'll hold me accountable to that. Right. So you can ask in groups, you can look for people. I'm in a couple slow groups. I'm in one called Slow AF Running, because I run like a 13-minute mile. And people are always looking for buddies. Now, I don't like to run with other people, so I wouldn't like that kind of accountability, but I could maybe find somebody in that group who is running to be like, "Hey, can we text each other when you get your run in for the day?" Like, that's the accountability that I need. And so I would say looking and using local online groups to find in real life buddies is really great. Now, there's other people that you can find on the internet. The internet is incredible for so many reasons, and one of those is support groups. Go onto Facebook, search whatever you're working on. I'm working on latch hook and I'm behind on my latch hook pillow and I wanted to finish it before spring. And I don't know if I'm going to get to it. Honestly, I mean, I've analyzed why I think I'm behind on it. And part of it is that this one is harder than it's not, latch hook is not challenging, but the pattern isn't laid out. So I have to count. So it's just taking me a little bit longer. Anyway, I'm sure I can find a latch hook group and be like, "I'm trying to get this pillow done. Is anyone working on a project and can use like a little bit of a boost?" And I think that's important. The other thing that's going to be important is setting out boundaries of what accountability looks like. I always say this to people when I find a new buddy or a group. I'll say things like, I've been in groups before and I feel like I'm always the one checking in. So, a good relationship for me would not be where I'm always the one initiating the check-in. Um, because if that's happening, it's probably not a good fit. Like, I say it straight out because it's so annoying to me. But it's been the story of my life. It's like if somebody doesn't check in with, I mean, this is a whole another topic for another day, but if somebody doesn't check in with me, um, yeah. I'm always expected to check in with them, but nobody ever checks in on me. And then, whatever. We can analyze that one in therapy. But but you want a good relationship. So find it online, right? Find a community, find people who are at a similar place so that they can get excited about your goals too. Now, this is where I'm going to tell you that the Purpose Driven Mom Club is opening this week, and you will be able to jump in, go to a purposedrivenmom.com/club, and let us be your accountability. This is one of the reasons that we think the club has been so successful for the past 5 years. Listen, I got a course in there. There's a program. It's great. You'll learn all the tools. But what people really love is the accountability. We offer almost daily accountability calls, or what you're doing is just getting online with one of our coaches, connecting with other people, and it's just somebody else literally being like, "Hey, you said you were going to drink 6 glasses of water 5 days last week. How did it go?" And what happens a lot is that people will get on and be like, "Cara, I just did the thing. Like I said, I was going to read these 2 chapters. So I read them right now before we were going to get on because I knew you were going to ask me." That's okay. We need that external accountability. And I'm okay with being the reason you show up while you're waiting. I always say we need external accountability while our internal motivation muscle grows. That's okay, right? So we'd love to have you come to a purposedrivenmom.com/club. Come join us in the Purpose Driven Mom Club. For our cohort, we only open 4 times a year. So this is our spring opening. We will be closing doors soon. You don't want to miss out. Things are all going to be linked at the show notes at a purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 398. Let me be your accountability buddy as you go into the spring. I know you have goals that you set for yourself that have gotten derailed. Let me be your buddy. I'm here for you. Our team is here for you. And we hope to see you in the club. Message if you have any questions, and show notes again at purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 398.